is there any truth to a story I heard where Stu Hart called Jim before King of the Ring 96 over the Shawn Michaels British Bulldog angle with Diana Hart?
Yes, I told that story. As a matter of fact, go on JimCornette.com and buy Jim Cornette Live in London. You'll get the entire unexpurgated, unedited, uncensored story. I thought it was Bruce Pritchard ribbing me. Stu really did not like that they had come up with the angle where Diana was trying to entice Shawn, and then they would find out later on when the payoff happened, which never happened, that it was a trick, that she had pushed herself on him and otherwise in means to get incriminating video and etc. to make him look bad. I don't know where they were going with it. I was trying to fucking help, but I was a bystander in a lot of this. But anyway, fucking one day I'm at Raw after the promo that we had done where, you know, Diana had said, Shawn, you know you want me, and I'd called him a fornicator. And I'm sitting back in the pre-tape room, and here comes Owen carrying a red phone, followed by Davey Boy. Doop, 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 you know, and like they're sneaking in, they're doing something, they're up to some mischief. And this looks like the fucking Commissioner Gordon Batman phone, right? And I said, what the fuck? This phone for you, Jim. I said, who is it? He said, it's Stu. So already, and the cord's going out the door around the fucking corner. I'm already smelling a fucking rat. I say hello, and Bruce Pritchard does a great Stu Hart impression, as do a lot of people. And I hear, Jim? I said, yeah, Stu, how are you? Jim, it's Stu is just I'm just calling about the thing with Diana. You know, the kids are in school up here, and they're making her look on TV like she's some kind of whore. I said, yeah, I know, Stu. It wasn't mine. Well, it just, you know, it's hard to explain. And when she's coming on TV there, and, you know, the kids have to go to school, and there's Diana looking like some kind of whore. I said, yeah, you know, you know whose fault it is, Stu. It's all the fault of that fucking Bruce Pritchard. Is it Bruce? It seemed like a fine boy to me. I don't know what I said, no. He's one of those guys. He goes to those adult bookstores and those porn stores, you know, where they have to mop the floor up afterwards. Then he's always got all those sex toys in his bag. He's a pervert. He loves that shit. Well, I had no idea. I always thought Bruce was very businesslike. Yeah, well, I said, if I were you, Stu, I'd call Vince. Because it's really making the whole family look bad. Well, I may have to do that because I just don't want Diana looking like some kind of whore. So anyway, if I were you, I'd do that. Get right to the bottom of it. Okay, Stu, thank you very much. I hang up the phone. I look up at Owen and Davey, and right as I've said, who was that, thinking they're going to say it was Bruce, around the corner and into the room walks Bruce with papers in his hand, obviously oblivious to everything that's fucking gone on. I whiplashed myself looking back at the phone. I've been talking to Stu Hart. Bruce says, what's going on? I said, nothing. Nothing for you to see here. Nothing to be worried about. I don't know. And I've always said this. I don't know what happened afterwards. I don't know if Stu called Vince. I don't know if Vince talked to Bruce. I don't know if Diana still looks like some kind of whore. But they cut that fucking angle off the very next week. And it was so. And until I started telling that story at some of my live shows, I don't think Bruce was aware why he might have possibly been chastised for being a sexual deviant and a prevert along about 1996 or 7.
It was recently talked about on the Super Podcast. The Honky Tonk Man now is a one-man show, I guess, where he goes to different comedy clubs and he does his one-man show. And one of the things he says, I guess he has a thesis, that all of the Hart kids, including the girls, sound like Stu.
Yes.
Which is true.
Yes. And it's a thing that you just have to get used to after a while. That they all start to look like Stu also in their own way.
That didn't sound like Stu there. It sounded like one of the keyboard elves. I
don't know. Well, I can't hear myself well. This is a good time to bail after we've called Diana some kind of. And Diana likes that story, by the way. I've talked to Diana a few times, and not only that, but I did it in England. And got to see their lovely daughter, who got to hear me tell the same story about the whole fucking 9 yards. So anyway,